Namaha, His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sakosi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Govinad Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Sri Jamunamai Gangamai Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premananda Haribo. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glory to some devotees. Jai Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 17. Questions by Mars Prickett. Yugani, Yuga, Manam, Cha, Dharma, Yas, Cha, Yuge, Yuge, Taranucharitam Yat Ascharyatamam Hare Yugani Yuga Natmanam Cha Dharmo Yascha Yuge Yuge Avataranucharitam Yadascharyatamam Hare Yugani Yuga Manam Cha Dharmo Yascha Yuge Yuge Avataranucharitam Yadascharyatamam Hare Yugani Yuga Manum Cha Dharmo Yascha Yuge Yuge Avataranucharitam Yadascharyatamam Hare Yugani Yuga Manam Cha Dharma Yascha Yuge Yuge Yugani Yuga Manam Cha Dharma Yascha Yuge Yuge Avataranucharitam Yadascharyatamam Hare Yugani Yugamanam Cha Dharmo Yascha Yuge Yuge Avataranucharitam Yadascharyatamam Hare Yugani Yugamanam Cha Yascha Yuge Yuge Avataranucharitam Yadascharyatamam Hare Yugamanam Cha Dharma Yascha Yuge Yuge Avataranucharitam Namascharya Tamam Matajis Yugani Yuga Manam Cha Namayascha Yuge Yuge Avatar Charitam Yagascharya Tamam Hare Yani Yagamanam Cha Yascha Yuge Yuge Avatar Charitam Yagascharya Tamam Hare Yani Yagamanam Cha Yugani, the different ages. Yugamanam, the duration of each age. Cha, as well as. Dharma, the particular occupational duty. Yacha, and which. Yuge, in each and every yuga or particular age. Avatar, the incarnation. Anucharitam, and the activities of the incarnation. Yat, which. Ascharyatamam, the most wonderful activities. Hare, of the Supreme Lord. Translation. Please explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, although non-different from him, are emanations from the Supreme. Maharaj Pariksit inquired from the great and learned sage Sukadeva Goswami about the different activities of such incarnations, so that the incarnation of the Lord might be confirmed by his activities in the authoritative scriptures. Maharaj Pariksit was not to be carried away by the sentiments of the common man to accept an incarnation of the Lord very cheaply. Instead, he wished to accept the incarnation of the Lord by symptoms mentioned in the Vedic literatures and confirmed by an acharya like Sukadeva Goswami. The Lord descends by his material energy without any obligation to the laws of material nature, and thus his activities are also uncommon. The specific activities of the Lord are mentioned, and one should know about the activities of the Lord and the Lord himself, and one should know that the activities of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical due to being on the absolute plane. Thus, to hear the activities of the Lord means to associate with the Lord directly, and association with the Lord directly means purification from material contamination. We have already discussed this point in the previous volume. Yugani Yugamanam Cha Dharmo Yascha Yuge Avataranucharitam Yadascharyatamam Hare. Please explain all the different ages and the duration of the creation, and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages. Om Ajnana Tamirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. One important line in this purport that everyone should note. Thus, to hear the activities of the Lord means to associate with the Lord directly. And association with the Lord directly means purification from material contamination. That is, we may wonder, we've been serving for so many years, but we're not seeing Krishna face to face. But actually, all of us are seeing Krishna face to face. Because it states here, Srila Prabhupada states here, you hear the pastimes of the Lord. That is directly associating with the Lord. Just by hearing of his pastimes. In this verse, the Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami to explain the incarnations. And in the first canto, third chapter, it is entitled, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Ete chamsa kalapumsa Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Midyanti Yuge Yuge. Krishna is the source of all incarnations, as stated also in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchit Ananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karnam. Ishvara Parama, the Supreme Controller, that is Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha, he has a body made of eternality, knowledge, and blissfulness in form. Anadiradir, he is the origin without any origin himself. Govindam, Sarva Karana Karnam, and the cause of all causes. So we understand who is God. We hear his pastimes and we associate with him directly. We hear his instructions and we associate with him directly. And Maharaj Parikshit was not fooled by those who pretend, these sahajiyas, those who cheaply take the incarnation or claim themselves to be incarnation. A few years ago, we were traveling with one guru doing kirtan, temple bhajan band. And this guru would sometimes give out, he had very long sleeves, really long sleeves. And he produced from his sleeves some jewels, some rings, deities. He gave me once Lakshmi Narayan. And he gave one of the Matajis in our band, I think it was a ring, beautiful ring. And she showed it to me and it said 18 karat gold. Then you look a little further and it said made in India. So I went up to their head senior man. I said, it has some things inscribed on it. 18 karat gold and made in India. Did Guruji just produce this, or did he get it someplace? He said he's taken it from one place and brought it to another place. I said, so this was like at a bazaar in India on a table and somehow got up his sleeves. And he smiled and said, yes, pretty much like that. I wasn't born in a Hindu family, but just being an American, or I should say a Judaic Christian, in my country, we called that stealing. That's not an activity of God that he takes from one place and brings to another place. Another time, I was with Sura Prabhu. We were traveling. They had flown us or paid for us to go to Salt Lake City for many people, 600, 700 people in a movie theater, and we did the kirtan. They asked us, though, instead of chanting your Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, can you please chant Amma Bhagavan, Amma Bhagavan, Amma Bhagavan, Amma Bhagavan? So when we were at the house, we stayed at one house of the senior devotee couple. Naikatma asked the couple, what is your philosophy? If someone even asks our little boy, what is your philosophy? He knows. You're not your body. You're a spirit soul. You're part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit Soul, and you're meant to engage in his service. Naikatma asked, what's your philosophy, when we were there in the morning? And they said, it's kind of Buddhist, Christian, isn't it? Isn't that what they said? It's Christian, Buddhist, Judaism, and Hinduism. And that was the answer. That's not philosophy. That isn't philosophy at all. And these were senior members of the incarnations cult. So in Kali Yuga especially, everybody accepts cheap incarnations. People are claiming to be God. This one who produced the things that come out of the sleeves, he claimed that he was Krishna and his sannyasis were the gopis. So when that was revealed some years ago, they stopped inviting him to the United States and stopped inviting him to preach. But he became very popular in Europe, especially in Germany. I couldn't even understand. If Americans, just normal people, reject, how do the Germans accept? very strange. And also this Amma Bhagavan was kicked out of India or arrested in India for something, I forget. God was arrested. So there are so many cheap incarnations and cheap followers. But the devotees of the Lord, they know directly from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. We hear from the authorized source, and we know what are the incarnations. Maharaj Parikar was asking, on behalf of everyone, name the incarnations. When do they come? What are the different ages? When does the Lord appear? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma stamstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna appears paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the saintly, vinashaya chaduskritam, and to destroy the duskritinas, the miscreants. He comes millennium after millennium. And we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, who are those incarnations, scheduled incarnations? Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, so many incarnations, but they're all there in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the hidden incarnation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, incarnation of Krishna that came to rekindle the Vaishnavas in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He appeared 500 years ago and gave this chanting of Hare Krishna and dancing in every town and village. And now, practically we're seeing Krishna consciousness is spreading to every town and village. We have names at BBT of preaching centers in places I never heard before. Who knew where Ypsilanti is? We couldn't even spell Ypsilanti. You knew? In Michigan. Ypsilanti. Ypsilanti, excuse me. So many little towns and villages all over the world. Not just in America, so many. So many in America. Nowadays increasing more and more. There were so many little centers in remote towns that we called it future temples of America. But because their Sankirtan increased so much, a dozen of these future temples of America became temples. ISKCON of Ypsilanti, ISKCON of all these different places became authorized temples with GBC and book distribution and morning program, everything. This was the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the mission. That everywhere, all over the world, in every nook and cranny, people are chanting Hare Krishna and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with Lord Krishna, the incarnation of Krishna. And his mission is being fulfilled now more than ever. We were very surprised. I brought the reports to Savas. Last year, this time, we in North America distributed about $70,000 worth of books, which is average for a month, the month of May or the month of June. This year, we distributed in the month of June in North America over $200,000 worth of books, which is a 200 or 300% increase over last year. For the first 6 months of the year, in North America, we've already distributed over $1 million worth of books, which all glories to the Sankirtan devotees. That has, I don't think, ever happened in years and years and years. That $1 million by the first 6 months, because the second 6 months are the big 6 months. The Srimad Bhagavatam marathon and the Christmas marathon. So much increase. So this is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the sincerity of his followers. That the world is falling apart. The world's a mess. It wasn't this bad in the 1960s. And they were taking boys with ping pong balls on your birthday, birthday on a ping pong ball, and sending you to Vietnam. It's worse now. For a year, everyone was shut down because of the coronavirus. And now, lo and behold, the Delta strain of the coronavirus, which I hate to tell everybody, but my understanding is that's the Indian version of the coronavirus. Don't take any offense. Birth, death, disease, old age will never stop. It is the darkest of darkness. Very difficult time. But somehow or other, the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada's Sankirtan movement, is increasing more and more. And temples are opening more and more. Every day we get an order for thousands of dollars worth of books from some remote place in Texas. I think it's called, well, it's not that remote. I think it's called El Paso. There was never a temple there. But now there's temple in El Paso. so many places. So our business is to keep associating with Krishna and give every person the opportunity of associating with Krishna by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, they're associating with Krishna. And of course, they're associating with Srila Prabhupada. By reading the purports, they're associating with Srila Prabhupada's personal ecstasy. What did Prabhupada call it? His personal ecstasy, his purport. So we have a great opportunity. Some of us are old men. We don't have that many more years to perform these tasks. Brigupati may not be able to go on Sankirtan 20 years from now. We hope he will. I don't even want to mention how old he'll be. But it's called nearing 100. So the young devotees and new devotees and middle-aged devotees have to make sure that their conviction is solid so they can push on this Sankirtan mission. Fulfill the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pritevite achayata nari agra. Like you said. Every town and village, the holy name be heard. So, this is so important that people say, have you seen God? I associate with God every morning, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam class. That's what this purport says. Have you seen God? Yes, I'm with him every morning. I get his direct association by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita. We are directly associating with Krishna and becoming purified from the modes of material nature. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.